Hi, I'm Mikko. Welcome to my very first episode ever of my podcast called Mikko Makes. This has been a long time coming. I've been really excited to finally start filming and recording my fiber journey. So yes, this is a podcast for all of you fiber enthusiasts out there. I know you're out there, and I've been enjoying your company so much that I just felt, well, time to give back and share myself with you. So hi everyone, nice to meet you. I have some wonderful finished objects to share, some works in progress. But before I jump into that, maybe I should share more about who I am. So I'm a knitter primarily. I started with crochet back in middle school. I took a fiber arts class with Miss Grigg at La Pietra, and that has forever burned an experience in my mind that I'm so forever grateful for. And crochet was a pretty accessible way into fiber arts for me. And I started knitting afterwards because that was part of the same class. Knitting was cooler to me at the time, but it did not click the way that crochet did. And I wonder if that's kind of the same for other people out there too. Crochet just seemed more intuitive for me, and I could create three-dimensional objects more easily that way. So I could just hit the ground running a little bit more with crochet. I tried knitting and got frustrated, and it's funny being the knitter that I am now, and how fluid and delicious it all feels. I still remember the first few attempts at knitting and how wrong I was doing it. I remember hearing the fibers of the yarn literally as I was trying to get the needles to move each stitch, and I just kind of think back to that and let me know if you guys can relate. But we've all come a long way, and we all should be proud of ourselves for that. And if that's where you are right now in your fiber journey, if you're trying to access knitting and it's just not clicking, I might suggest trying crochet first if you are noticing that it's just not quite working. That is something I think that's common with fiber people, is we don't we like one thing, but we like all of the fiber things too. So we might have a favorite, but it doesn't mean that we haven't tasted other aspects of fiber arts like weaving or spinning. I should also say I have ADHD, and I am also that's the first time I've actually said that in public. So just bear in mind that it will be that style of podcast where my train of thought might not be the most linear, but that's okay. We're here for the ride. We're here for the experience that I'm creating for you, and that's cool. If you want to tag along, great. Welcome. This is our space to do that. I'm happy to be accompanying you if you have a knitting project in front of you, or if you have nothing and you just like watching content about fiber. I totally relate. But yeah, welcome, and I hope I'm doing a good job so far. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so my background. I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, and there was not, at least to my knowledge at the time, very much of a knitting culture there. It's not cold there. We're not really familiar with sweater weather, so not really a huge thing there. But at the same time, generationally, things, being a maker has been definitely a huge thing in Hawaii. You'll find a lot of sewing of muumuus, these long traditional Hawaiian dresses and crochet, you know, just like as it was popular in the 70s and 60s, you'll find a ton of those kinds of things, especially in like Goodwills and all that. Personally, I found a lot of my great-grandmother's crochet work after she passed away. I found like tons of her doilies, these like intricate, I will show them maybe in a next episode, and I didn't think to pull them out now from storage. But yeah, her doilies are these like intricately done pieces of work that you could just stare at for hours. And she wasn't the only one in Hawaii doing that. It was very common for her generation to be crafty and really skilled. I know that my other great-grandma on my mom's side was really great at peeling fruit, and my mom has this memory of my great-grandma peeling a mango, which is kind of a tricky thing to peel and just prepare in general because it's so slippery. But she remembers my great-grandma peeling a mango, and the outer skin, she could get it off in one piece, and it was just this one long spiral of fruit skin that my grandma could take off. Anyway, yeah, so in Hawaii, I didn't quite get as deep into fiber arts as I could have, but that's okay. I have memories of ordering a loom, like a I don't know how big that is, like a 20-inch by 12-inch loom out of a magazine. I think it was like a kids' crafts magazine or something like that. And it didn't come, which is not uncommon back then, at least before Amazon. Packages, like when you order stuff online in Hawaii, this was like, you know, 2000, what, 5, 6, 7. When you order stuff and it's coming from the mainland or it's coming from somewhere else, packages take forever, or the shipping is insane and is like 50% of the item itself. So anyway, this was kind of a big deal that like I ordered something and even got the permission to get it, and it didn't come. And I made a big deal about it as a middle schooler. I think it was like elementary school at this point. And we complained, or we called the company and, you know, said, hey, it didn't come. Can you do something about it? They sent another one, and it arrived. And the original loom arrived the day after that. And I think it took like a month for both of them to show up. But boy, was I the happiest kid on the block with my little loom. And I I wove with some janky, gross, like, in hindsight, because I'm kind of a yarn snob now, but with some, like, acrylic, like, yellow, canary yellow yarn, I wove a scarf for my brother, who's 8 years older than me, and it was my first, like, fiber art piece, and it was like this long, and I totally thought it was like, in my mind, I thought I did it, I made a scarf. And I gave it to him for Christmas and was so proud of it. And there's a picture of me with my brother by the Christmas tree, and he has it, and it's basically a cowl at this point. It's like barely goes around his neck, and he's like some high schooler or whatever. Basically goes around his neck, and he's smiling so hard, and I'm next to him, and I think I have my hands up like this, and I'm I'm so proud and so happy. And that, I think that really was like the beginning of my like joy of working with fibers. And I remember weaving that to the Postal Service's album, like their whole album, Give Up. It was Give Up. their only album. But I played that on repeat and just wove. And like, you know, this little bit of a thing doesn't seem like it would take that long, but I guess I just sank in and had that album on repeat. So yeah, that's burned into my memory too, and now you know about it. I'm curious to know what your earliest fiber memory is, or what it was. Because I think those are important for us to reflect on and validate. Because for many of us, especially newbies to the fiber arts, it's really hard to validate your hobby as like a more intense passion in your life. And I just want to be a voice for you and for maybe myself, but just I think it's really important that you create space and validate how much working on something, whether it be a sweater or a pair of socks, it does a lot for us, and it's more spiritually filling than a lot of other things could be. And truthfully, my life has been changing since I've been prioritizing more of what makes me happy, and things have been lining up for me in like crazy ways, which I'm happy to get into on this podcast. So there is so much that I want to share with you all. So much that I feel would just inundate my parents or my friends or my spouse, my husband, if I were to just like spout off like, and this is happening, and this is happening. So that's kind of part of the purpose of this whole podcast, is to create a space where I can share what is exciting me right now with you, with anyone who might find it valuable, because I've been inspired by other knitters online, by just seeing them so joyous, you know, about an art form that I can absolutely relate to. And I want to build and find community here with you all, and I'm so excited. So let's get into some finished objects first. You know, that was kind of a weird, funny intro for me, but I'll share more about myself as we keep going, keep getting to know each other, so save some. Finished objects. Well, I have a sweater. This was the first sweater that I knit. Oh yeah, and so I am kind of a newbie, so I want to just like preface with that. I learned how to knit in middle school and have been knitting random things like every 3 years. So I don't consider myself like a like super knitter, but I've been knitting consistently for, I'd say, like the past year now. So yeah, I'm still quite a newbie, but oh my god, it's clicking like even more than it has in the past, and I'm super into it. So this is the first sweater that I ever knit. It is for a 2-year-old, so don't think that I accidentally made one for myself that was too small, because it was intentionally for a tinier human. Yeah, so this is the Pure and Simple pattern. Don't remember who it's by, but let me find out because she deserves credit. This was one of those patterns that, you know, a simpler pattern that you'll find from your local yarn shop. Stuff like that. Here we go. I'm a little old school too. I keep my patterns in a filing cabinet to my left. Yeah, so this was it. It was the, oh my, that's probably backwards, but isn't she so cute, the model? Anyway, it's called the Children's Neck Down Pullover, Knitting Pure and Simple by maybe that's all the information I can give you. No, I know there's a woman's name associated with this pattern. I'm unfortunately not seeing it on this printout, but I got it from my local yarn shop. And you can absolutely find it on Ravelry, because that's where they got it from. But yeah, so as far as first sweaters go, if any of you haven't knit a sweater yet and feel ready to, I highly suggest knitting a toddler's sweater. The reason being, it's lower risk, you know, you're investing in less yarn up front, for one. You can make all the mistakes that you are gonna make on a smaller garment, and then be better for your next attempt, which will be a sweater for yourself. So it's kind of like a warm-up, you know? Also, if it's going to a toddler, they're not gonna really remember, like, oh yeah, that sweater that I had when I was 2 years old had like giant holes in the armpit, and so anyway, that was my experience. This is a top-down raglan pattern. It has a rolled neck and a rolled hem too, which I think is kind of cute. I felt ready to do like a ribbed collar, but I just stuck with the pattern because Anyway, it is a top-down raglan style sweater, meaning it has the increases along this part of the body. I really like that technique and style, and it's great for beginners. The reason why I liked this pattern too, in particular as far as first sweaters go, is because it didn't involve any German short rows. The first children's sweater pattern that I actually tried was not the pure and simple. It was a different one, and I felt super ready for it, but it had German short rows, and I got so confused. Like, when it came to the flipping, the turning, and all that, sorry, there's lint and fiber floating around. When it came to the turning points for the right and the wrong sides, I just got lost, and I felt like I was screwing up the back of the sweater for the shaping. So I paused that and went to my local yarn shop, which is the Olympia. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention where I am. I am based in Olympia, Washington right now, and have some updates for you coming soon about where I'm going to be relocating to. So yeah, my local yarn shop is the Olympia Local Yarn Shop, O-L-Y-S, Olys, like Olympia. And yeah, they're so helpful. So like, I highly advise, if you have a yarn shop near you, to rely on them as a resource for help with your knitting. Yeah, I went in and was like, hey, I'm stuck on this, can you help me? And they were like, girl, get a different pattern maybe. And I did, and they helped me find this pattern, an easier pattern. And what was I saying? Yeah, so I found a pattern that I started flat, like the back part, you kind of start flat to do the shaping instead of German short rows, and then it connected somehow, and then the raglan portion started. You finish the body, and then you go back to the sleeves. And for the sleeves, I used DPNs for the first time successfully. Oh, and that was so fun. I used these carbons. Let me grab them. These guys. So I think it's a Knitter's Pride carbons. I hope I'm right. But they are a size 9, so pretty large for DPNs, sort of. But they have this carbon sort of coating. Sorry. I will do this. Ooh. They have this carbon coating, there we go, that makes the yarn grip more easily. And as a first-time DPN user, ooh, that was exactly what I needed. I tried DPNs before, like years ago, and was like, what the f am I doing? Alright, hi, sorry. There is apparently a time limit on how long I can record on my camera. So, that being said, let's refocus. I think I was talking about DPNs first time on the carbons, which were really great. Highly recommend if you're kind of new to DPNs and don't want something too slippery, that or wooden needles are great. But yeah, next up in terms of finished objects, my top, I did, it was such a great top. I should be more organized. That's not the pattern I'm looking for. It was a Jessie made top, of course. Jessie made makes such great patterns. And if you're looking for a confidence booster in terms of like enjoyable knits that are not too difficult and are like fast and you're like, heck yeah, I can make my own clothes, I highly recommend any of Jessie Made's patterns, but the one that I did was a summer top that I actually wore yesterday. The name of it is a Summer Secret crop top. Summer Secret top. And I have it around somewhere. This was the swatch, so the yarn that I used for it, oh my gosh. So Carol Feller, her line is Stolen Stitches, and I have it here. This is the Nua Sport. The colorway is Rolling Bales, so like bales of golden delicious hay. And this was 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% linen. So it's my first animal and plant fiber blend, and I just look at this. It was very good for next to skin, and you know, as far as summer tops go, when I gave it a try yesterday, like wearing it out and about, it did great. I didn't feel itchy. It, you know, wicked a good amount of moisture off of especially like this area of the body. Did great. And then my swatch. So I don't like to wear bras. That's just how I am, and that's how I probably will be for a while. I get irritations here very easily, and I think it's kind of like a sensory thing for me too, as someone with ADHD. If I have too much pressure around me, I'm very aware of it, and it's distracting, and I even get like migraines. I don't even have a lot to like support necessarily, but just having tight things like here, even here, like I can't wear headbands. I mean, when I was a kid, I hated them. But anyway, all that's to say, I did a swatch, and for me, what's important with tops, especially fitted tops, are the nipples. I can't have a knitted fabric that's just like, hello, you know, like letting a nipple poke through. So the swatch was nice, you know, it was a good like test. I will say I'm kind of considering, oh, I should show you the top, shouldn't I? Oh, it's right here. I had it ready and I didn't remember where I put it. But look at this! It's such a lovely golden yellow color. And then I think lengthwise, I stopped at a certain point that I like, because I wear a lot of high-waisted pants, and if something's too long, I need to tuck it in, but I also hate tucking shirts into my pants too, and I'll often like forget to re-tuck it in if I use the bathroom. But yeah, gorgeous pattern, easy pattern, very straightforward, excellent confidence booster. the yarn that I chose again, the yarn that I chose again with the Carol Feller Stolen Stitches, extremely soft and like nice against the skin. Highly recommend. Oh, you know you're a YouTuber when you say highly recommend. Anyway, I think that's about it for finished objects right now. Oh, and I guess technically that sweater for my nephew Wyatt is not finished, cause I didn't weave in my ends, so, but I felt like I finished it, and I guess I wanted to move on to the next thing. I bet you this is not gonna make it to, this was supposed to be for his 2nd birthday, so I knit it for a 2-year-old. His birthday's in September. I bet you this is never gonna make it to him, because I'm gonna be like, I can do better than that, and then I'll make another one, and I'm like, I can do better than that, and I'll make another one. So it's my goal to like let go of that perfectionism, and maybe some of you can relate. I think knitting is such a good tool for me in terms of like creating for others. It's already happening. I'm already getting like excited about potential gifts that I could give people, or knowing that like friends or coworkers have a missing piece of their wardrobe that I can help them with, and that, you know, give them something that they'll like and feel good in. I really want to exercise that creative muscle, and additionally exercise letting go of like, oh, what if they think it's just, you know, some dumb macaroni on paper arts and crafts gift that Mikko put together for me, and I'm gonna pretend that I like. There is that self-consciousness, but I think I've been moving past that, and the more that I practice giving and not really worrying about what it says about me, and just giving for the sake of giving, for the sake of loving, is going to be good for me, and it already has been. So that being said, on to works in progress. Really good segue, actually. I have had some commissions. I do some mending too, so this podcast will be about my fiber journey, but also my general journey as a maker too. So I am interested, I didn't even say this in the intro, I should have said this. My focus is on sustainable fiber production / design. I'm feeling my way out, but yeah, I like working with textiles, I like knitting fabrics, I like knitting garments, primarily with natural fibers, and yeah, and being more resource conscious and mindful about how textiles function in our daily lives, and how to slow fashion down in particular and focus more on like design but utility as well. And that being said, I like to also mend clothing as well. So I have, my next project is actually my friend Courtney's jacket, denim jacket behind me. Hope she doesn't mind me sharing this on the internet. But this is a jacket that she really, really loves, and it has some lining issues, so I'm gonna rip out the lining and redo it for her. The sleeves also, I think, let's see. Oh, they just have a little bit of wear. Which personally I like keeping elements of. Ooh. But let's see, on this side, got some patches and things to mend, so stay tuned if you like watching mending type things and get any ideas for how to keep staple items in your wardrobe longer than, you know, they could be. So that's something. I also spin yarn. I'm also a beginner at that as well. I am taking a class at my local yarn shop, and it's being taught by Wendy. I know she has a last name. I want to say Clark. I'm sorry, Wendy's my mentor, but I just call her Wendy, and I haven't really like memorized her last name. So yeah, Wendy is my mentor. She's teaching spinning, and we actually all got to take home a spinning wheel. Like, we got to take it home and practice with it in between classes. So I have a class every Wednesday, and it's only a 3-part class, but the classes themselves I think are an hour long. But in between you practice, and like you can text for help, and like I've just enjoyed like sending her pictures and being like, you know, look at me go, I'm making yarn, or like, why does it look this gnarly, like what am I doing wrong? So yeah, this podcast will also cover that. Do you want to see my very first hand spun yarn? This is what it looks like. It's in a cute little cake because I have a yarn ball winder and a Swift, but anyway, I was able to get it off the spool with my yarn baller, and look how inconsistent that is. So let me pull some of it out. Like, there are sections that are like underspun, overspun, that are like twisting up on themselves, like right here. Sorry, my nails are dirty. I also garden a lot, so if you like that, this podcast will have a lot of that too. But yeah, this is my very first, so it's really, you know, it's really good to keep your first ever thing so you can compare it to your other little cakes or whatnot as you get better. So for example, maybe I'll bring it over for you. Yeah. Oh, that's my kitty, by the way. Of course, I have a cat because I'm a knitter, and you just heard her. Her name's Zuki. She'll make an appearance at some point, I'm sure, but she's pretty comfortable by the windowsill right now. Anyway, this is my second crack at the yarn spinning, and look how much more like uniform that is already. So look at that. Sorry, this is the most recent part of the yarn, so I'll just hold that out of the frame. But isn't that crazy? Like, it's not perfect, but it's so much more uniform than this one was. This one was like, oh my god, I'm losing control, but the yarn is getting taken up. Let me just shove it in there. I think speed is like where I'm at with like not knowing how to control, or if I do, I kind of like panic and then stop and then go and then stop. But yeah, I feel like really excited for my next class because we're going to be going over twists per inch, and I have no idea how to calculate that, but I'm going to learn how, and I think that's going to really inform my spinning experience and spinning knowledge. So yeah, this, by the way, is a Corriedale fleece, or Corriedale wool. That was really great for like a first spinner's experience. I think it's because the staple length of each fiber is like pretty long. So this is a good example. Like, it stretches pretty easily. You're not like racing to keep control of it. So yeah, pretty easy. I recommend a Corriedale wool if you are trying to spin for the first time. Budget friendly, at least I think. I think it was like $2 an ounce or $2.50 an ounce, something like that. But I've got a you know, decent amount, and I kind of feel like when I spin, it like just goes so fast, and I'm like, damn, I don't have enough money to like keep up with the amount of spinning and knitting that I want to do. Look at this giant, it's like a neck pillow almost. This is more Cordale. It's a nice, beautiful, like beige, creamy color. And then what I thought would be fun would be to possibly combine the two or do like a 2-ply or whatever later. But really, this is all just like my practice yarn or practice wool for spinning. Yeah. Zuki's little jelly bean toes are sticking out from the window. It's really cute. Yeah, so I have a lot more to she's stretching. Oh, I wish I could show you. But anyway, maybe I'll just turn this around. There. Your little feet. That's Zuki, and I promise you will meet her in another episode. Wow, shaky. Yeah, I feel like I have more to say, but at the same time, I don't want to like overwhelm anyone. I hope your day is going really well. On this channel, I also will be documenting my journey to get closer to fiber production. So I will say I am an aspiring shepherdess, and we'll be moving, oh my god, we'll be moving closer to that experience and documenting the whole thing. I will... I don't really know what else to say. But yeah. I have a lot of books that I'm reading too, so if you like books, we'll talk about that. They're all knitting and yarn and fiber art related, so that could be fun. I have socks that I'm gonna knit with this beautiful ball. It's, oh, I don't know how to pronounce it. It looks very German, I will tell you that. Yeah, it's this. And look at that. Oh my god. I don't know if you all know who Phoebe Wall is, but she is an artist, and she, like, these colors totally remind me of her. I found Phoebe Wall years ago in a Taproot magazine, and I have been a fan of Taproot for ages, and I was so excited to see that they had I haven't been to Rhinebeck, the Fiber Festival, yet. I plan to go someday. But anyway, I was really happy to see that they had a table there, and just like, you know how the universe like leaves little nuggets around for you to like stay true to yourself or whatever. I would say that that has been one of them. Like all these little threads of the moments in which you're like, oh my god. You just feel like really excited by something. Phoebe Wall, Taproot, Rhinebeck, knitting, YouTubers who knit, like, oh my god, I am just so in love with it all. So I'm really excited to be jumping in, taking part, and sharing my experience as well. So I'm really excited to bring you along with that journey, with my journey, and I am so excited to meet you all too. Feel free to leave a comment below and introduce yourself. I have a YouTube, or excuse me, an Instagram as well, Mikko_Makes. I don't know. I'll put it down below. But yeah, thank you so much. If you made it this far, thank you. It really means the world to me. And I look forward to getting to know y'all better and sharing more of myself too. So take care in the meantime, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye-bye.